a lot of requests on the Analytical Designer, which is a very niche skill to have in SAC. And Analytical Designers use JavaScripting, which is a quaint skill. It's been there for ages. We used to use JavaScripting in our web-based design, in our web page building, and also in Lumira for building dynamic contents. So let's see today how JavaScripting can be used in the Analytical Designer in SAC. So I have built a dynamic layout with the JavaScripting in the Analytical Designer. The Analytical Designer in SAC is not so complicated as you're comparing to other UX designer. So just let me give you an overview of what's been built. Then we would do a deep dive into the coding aspects. So I have placed a filter on the top. So the filter would control the structures, that is a filtration of the data sets. So that means whatever I add into my data layout, data table here, would be passed to the script. Then I also added two combo boxes or list box. This one is for my measures, selection of the measures, and other is for selecting different dimensionalities. It can be location, sales group, or profit centers, anything. Then I've added two chart types or widgets. A widget on the right, we have a chart type. It's a bar chart, and I added two checkboxes, a checkbox group. This is used for with the JavaScripting technique. We can hide the table layouts or the grids if you want to hide it dynamically. So let me run this demo now. So what I'm going to do now is let me select the gross margin. I would expect the grid to refresh. So that's been done. So it's bringing your gross margin. You can see here on the data grid, data table, and also my bar chart is bringing the gross margin. I'm going to select different dimensionality. So I'm going to select products. So it gets refreshed and brings the product view of it. And your actuals gross margin is displayed as an indicator to the top left. Let me select location pack. So I'm going to click on the details tab. So details, on the click of this, I would expect a pop-up to be coming up. Yeah, we got it. So the pop-up would display different measures. You can see here it is displaying different measures based on the location. We have the tooltip, which talks about what kind of a measure it is. You can see it brings the gross margin, discount, quantity sold. And also you can do a drill down, which is again a key characteristic. You can drill down into the top level or bottom level. You can see from California, it went on to the next data sets by locations. Then I've created a close button. So on click of this with the JavaScripting, it would close this pop-up. Now let's look into the design and the coding aspects. I'm going to click the Edit Analytical Application. So this is my designer mode. So what I've done here is today I've gone into created a designer here with the canvas type. Now, how do we create this analytical designer? So all you need to do is go to create, then click analytical applications. Then you would get this analytical designer. This is like your UX designer where you can design your components. So what I've done is I've created a canvas and added the buttons. What we have here is button 1 is a detail one. So on click of this, we saw a pop-up getting displayed. So the advantage of doing that is basically you can see multiple measures at the same time. So that could be quite useful for the FP&A and the top management. Then I've added a checkbox. So these are all the two checkbox group. So based on this, you are seeing the charts and the grids getting hidden. Then we had the drop-down boxes. So one is for the measure selection, which we saw, and the other one is by the dimensions, which we also had a look. It was changing from locations to the products. And then we have the table. This is a table grid where we can do a measures, dynamic measures, what kind of measures we need by discounts or gross margin. Then we have the charts. This is a chart. Let's go to the design. You can see here from this, the chart is in bar chart. And I also added a chart of a type indicator. So this is just an indicator which shows you the measures which has been reported. Then the filter line, which I was talking about before. So this basically you can see the source widget would be table 1. This is my table 1. What are all my selections here goes as a filter to the filter widget. Then that would control the whole screen as data restrictions. Then let's go into the query. What is the scripting being done? So all you need to do is click the FX. You can see a small indicator here, FX. So this is where you do your scripting. So on the drop down 2, you can see basically what I'm trying to do here is on the selection. You're getting the get key selected. That means we had on the designer and when we designed it, we had the IDs. So that is what is going to get selected. So one is my location and another is the product. So you might be wondering what are these IDs? Where is it coming from, right? So let me show you the data model. So on the underlying data model, when you go into the underlying data model, you can see these are all the dimensionalities. So we have one is called the location, stores, product. So we need to use the technical name what's been used in the underlying model. So this is where we are saying what is the IDs are. Then what I'm trying to do here is we have table 1 and table 1 and table 2 and tables and chart 2. What I'm trying to do here is based on the selection, because you can be selecting a location or a product from the drop down box. That has been, first you remove what has been selected in the existing, because assuming something you have selected before the selection, that needs to be removed from the table 1. So based on that, that is my grid layout, which we saw the table 1 was my grid layout. So let's see, yeah. Then what I'm trying to do is add the new sets of selection, because that's where you have the cell. Your cell is just a variable storing the value. You just add that to the table. Then the same concept, right? So I'm removing from the chart 2 and adding the new selected item. It could be a location or product. Then I'm also returning to a script variable, because all these values, what has been has to be stored into a scripting variable. Return, it is just a return dimensionality, which we need to store it into a variable. So I've added a script variable. You can see the table 1 is my grid. You can see the table 1 is my grid. That is where we are adding and removing things. And the chart 2, let's go back to the canvas mode. Chart 2, the chart 2 is my bar chart. Even I can add probably a drop down box where you would be able to select the chart components, chart structures, different types of chart. This could be a good usability for the users. Then I have added a pop-up. So we saw on click of the details, a pop-up was coming up, on the screen, which was showing different measures. That's been done by the pop-up. The detail button is called the button 1. You can see here it's getting highlighted. When you click select the button 1, the details gets highlighted. Let's see the code behind this. You normally have event triggers. At the moment, I don't see much, a couple of event triggers being created at the moment, but I would expect something more coming up in future. On click, so we are calling a pop-up canvas. So we created a pop-up canvas called pop-up cross margin. So that's getting opened. Open is an action. Let's see. If you type control spacebar, you get a list of actions which can be done. You can see close, get class, get title. Just play around with that, So if you want to run the code, then you have to click. If you want to run the code, you have to click the run analytical application. Then you can see here 2 checkboxes. One is I was talking about, right, hiding the grid. Then you have the hiding the chart. So it's at the moment I've just coded it for the chart 1 on the top left. That is my indicator chart type. So I would urge the SAC community of SAP to focus more, developers to focus more on the analytical designer, which is a very niche skill, nice to have. And stay tuned for my next demo. Cheers.